Goddesses and gods gather around. Welcome to Mythology and Makeup. I'm Vanessa, and I'm thrilled to share my passion of mythology with you while I get ready for the day. So let's unlock the fascinating stories of mythology together, from Athena's wisdom to the captivating stories of mythology and everything in between. So grab your brushes and a mirror, and let's unlock the beauty and magic within. Happy Saturday, everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. Happy early St. Patrick's Day. Last week I left off with Medusa, so I want to get into some love stories with Roman mythology. Some of these stories are Greek, but we only know about them because of the Roman poet Ovid. So since he is Roman, I figured I would talk about them now instead of when I did Greek mythology. So first, we're going to start off with Thebes and Pyramus. In Babylon, there lived two beautiful lovers. They were next door neighbors, just as any little classical love story starts out. Just the girl next door, They could never be together because their parents were part of opposite courtships. So they would speak with each other through the little crack in the wall that separated their homes. Eventually, they got tired of this, as people do. They need that, affection. They could only meet with each other outside of the city limits. So one day they decided, we're over. I'm done with this. We need to be together. So they told each other, hey, meet me at our little meeting place underneath the mulberry tree. So Thisbe, or whatever, was waiting for her lover under the mulberry tree. Well, suddenly she was scared off by a lion. She took off running, and her scarf fell off of her as she ran away. The lion found her scarf and shredded it to pieces, staining it with blood. So when Pyramus got to the tree, he saw some lion tracks and then a bloody scarf, and he knew exactly whose scarf that was. So he thought that his lover had been murdered, eaten by a lion. So he took his sword and killed himself. Well, stabbed himself. After Thebes felt safe to return to the meeting place, she went back and discovered that Pyramus had stabbed himself. And so she picked up his sword and also stabbed herself. They both laid there and died together. They were cremated together and put in the same urn, so they were with each other forever. Which, that kind of didn't make sense to me, because if they weren't allowed to be with each other, then why did they get cremated and put in the same urn together? I don't know. But from that day on, the mulberry berries were red instead of white from the blood that splattered onto them. Next, we're going to talk about Baucis and Philemon. They were an elderly couple. They lived on some land, They lived on a plot of land with some people, and their neighbors refused to worship Jupiter and Mercury when they came to them disguised for some refuge. But the elderly couple was the only two that took them in and fed them, and they were poor. They didn't have much, but they saw these two people and were like, we need to help them. As they were like feeding them and giving them a place to stay and some shelter, the wine glasses that they gave to them just kept mysteriously refilling. And from this, they knew that they were in the presence of gods. So my eyebrow's not cooperating. So they immediately went outside and tried to capture their last goose to kill it and give it to the gods. But the goose ran off and ran up to the two men. And these two gods, Jupiter and Mercury, told the couple that they needed to flee to a nearby mountain because the countryside was about to be flooded to wipe out their evil neighbors. So they did as they were told, and Jupiter and Mercury went with them. Soon after they reached the mountain, the countryside was completely flooded. Everything was underwater except for the couple's hut. And it was transformed into a temple made out of marble. Jupiter and Mercury told the couple that they would grant them anything that they wished for. And the couple literally only wanted two things. One, to serve in the temple, and two, when they died, to die together. So, they go on about their lives and work in the temple. And when it was time for them to die, they found themselves being transformed into an oak tree and a lime tree. And these two trees grew so close together that their leaves, their branches, and everything were just intertwined. I bet their roots were intertwined too. And they just died peacefully, turned into a tree, and then were next to each other forever. Next, we're going to learn about a man named Pygmalion. He was a sculptor, and he decided that in this world of fickle women, that he was better off alone and single. But one day, he decided that he needed to create his own woman, the perfect woman for himself. So, he sculpted a woman out of marble, and she was the most beautiful woman he'd ever laid his eyes on. She was perfect in every single way. The perfect woman for him. Made her in his own eyes, how he thought a woman should look. He knew that the statue wasn't real, but he fell in love with her, like infatuated with this statue. He would buy her gifts, even take her to bed with him. He loved this statue so much. So one day, at this festival, it was a festival to celebrate the goddess Venus. While he was at this festival, he prayed to Venus, begging her to turn his little creation into a real human being. And once he was done praying and begging Venus to help him out with his little issue, little problem he had going on. Oh, this wing looks really good, and I might mess it up, but it's okay. So he goes home and immediately embraces his little creation, his little statue. And he begins to feel a heartbeat. And next thing you know, the statue turns to flesh and his dream woman comes to life. And they lived happily ever after. Next, we're going to learn about Pomona and Vertumnus. Pomona was a wood nymph, and she would watch over the fruit trees and the orchards, just living her best life out there in the garden. Just living her best life. She was said to be from the city of Latium, in the central western part of Italy, where the city of Rome was found. Vertumnus was a god that the Romans adopted as their own. His cult arrived in Rome around 300 BC. He is the god of the changing of the seasons. And a lot of different gods tried to get with Pomona. But she was like, oh, absolutely not. I just want to take care of my trees and watch the fruit grow. I don't need a man. Literally rejected every single god that came to her. Was like, no. Leave me be. Let me do my thing out here. I am perfectly fine. But Vertumnus was not easily stopped. He was like, I need to have her. She is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. So, one day, he decided that he was going to just continue to change his disguise, like change how he looked until she wanted him. So first, he appeared to her as a harvester. She still didn't care. She's like, what's up, dude? You like fruit too? Cool. Good talk. Bye. Next, he appeared to her as the keeper of a vineyard. Still, she was like, hi. What's up? You have a vineyard? Oh, so beautiful. I do too. You want to see mine? She did not care. Then he appeared to her as a fisherman. Still didn't care. She was like, oh, you like fish? And then he appeared to her as a soldier, and she still shot him down. So, in a last attempt to win her over, he decided that he was going to disguise himself as an old lady. And when he was disguised as an old lady, he told her about the dangers of rejecting love. This old lady told her about a story about a man that was rejected by a woman, and the gods punished the woman by turning her into a marble statue. Still, Pomona did not care. I want to say Paloma and I don't know why I want to keep saying Paloma, but like when I see her name, I just want to say Paloma. And I know that's not correct, and that's why I keep messing it up, because I just want to say Paloma. Anyways, she still didn't care. She's like, I don't care. Whatever. I don't care. So, the god transformed himself back into his true being and stood before her booty butt naked, and she was like, oh my god, you are so fine. I need you in my life. And they, embraced each other, did their thing, got it on, as people do when, men just show their naked selves to women. They just instantly, like, oh yeah, let's have sex. Sounds like a lovely time. And then, they lived happily ever after in her little orchard and tended to her trees and just lived happily ever after. Next, we're going to get into Hero and Leander. Hero lived in the city of Secustus. I think that's how you say it. I'm probably saying that wrong. But she lived in a tower by the sea. There she ministers to Venus and Cupid. And across her little view was a handsome young man named Leander. One day at the festival of Adonis, they met and fell in love instantly. They saw each other and were like, oh my goodness, I love you so much. Before they went home, they agreed to have a little meet in secret. So all summer long, they had their fun. They had hot sex, just getting it on. Just loving each other, loving all up on each other. So Hero, what she would do was light a lamp and then shine the way for Leander to swim across the water to get in bed with her, Once winter came, she could not help herself and still shine the light for Leander to come and see her. And water in the wintertime? Yeah, no. I don't even get in the water in the summertime. Unless I can see into it. Because I don't like bodies of water. Anyways, it's off topic. But, so, she couldn't resist. And she was like, still come see me. So she lit the lamp. And Leander went out into the water, and he did not reach her. She was wondering, what happened? Where is he at? Where did he go? The next morning, she looked out her window and saw his mangled body on the rocks. This sight devastated her to the point where she jumped out of her window into the rocks to die next to him so they would be with each other forever. I'm going to finish I'm going to do my other eye off camera real fast, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. How do we look at the eyes? I think I like them. I like them. They're cute. Cute, cute. So that brings me to the end of my stories on the lovers of Greek mythology. Next week, I will be getting into the Roman monsters and the creatures and the one how they change them into their own from the different mythologies that they took them from and things like that. And then that would probably be my last Roman mythology video. I haven't 100% decided yet, but I will decide. But I hope that everybody enjoyed my video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Like, comment. If there's anybody that you guys want me to go over that is strictly Roman or has a completely different story in Roman mythology than in Greek mythology, let me know and I will do a video on them. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys next week with another video. Bye, guys.